Not my son texting me so long.
All right. So, hello again. And we don't have anybody watching right now.
You could have posted up. On your Facebook Live too?
Yep.
Oh, good. Multiple streams. We can hear. My son just said we can hear.
All right.
Oh my God, I gotta watch what I say now. My son is watching.
All right. Well, there we go. Hello, everybody. And I'm still looking at the screen instead of the camera.
It's a habit.
It is a really bad habit. Hello, everybody. It's your boy, Kyng Kevyn, and you're watching the Cocktail Hour with Kyng Kevyn. And I am your host and bartender. How about that? And I'm sitting here with the Mr. Robbie Graves. We're going to do a quick recap because a lot of you were watching already, so you already know what's going on. You just didn't hear us. So we're going to do this again, this time with you guys actually hearing what's going on. I want to give you a proper introduction, so let's do that. And then we'll get into our conversation again. So, next to me is Robert Kyng Graves. Robert is a multimedia visual and performing artist from Philadelphia. He began his training in theater and dance at the Point Breeze Performing Arts Center prior to graduating from the Philadelphia's High School for Creative and Performing Arts. I can say this, aka Kappa. I had to say it. Robert began his journey in film as a producer for Outpour Productions, working on documentaries and the web reality series Web Life. He steps into his own with his first short film, The Unhinged, which he wrote, directed, and executive produced. So,
now we've done it for the third or fourth time.
Right. All right, you guys see the mic. We got a mic, so you guys can see us. You guys can hear us. So there we go. All right, so with this show, the reason why I put the show together is because I wanted to create an hour for us away from the harsh, scary, depressing reality outside of our homes when we look at the TV, news, social media. This is a space for us to just have a drink and have a good time. So, grab your alcohol or your wine. Well, there's wine. Alcohol is wine. Your liquor, your wine. If you drink beer, grab your beer. If you don't drink at all, you can drink water, juice, lemonade.
The mocktails, as they're called.
Yes, a nice little mocktail. So, do all that, right? I just want to make sure that I can see. No, I just want to see everybody's comments. If you guys are putting comments.
So if you're watching right now, drop something in the comments. Let us know you're here.
Right. This is a conversation that's for everybody. So, real quick, I'm going to get into this again. So, we're going to have our drinks. My drink is a Manhattan. One of my favorite two drinks is a Manhattan. And it's with Maker's Mark, sweet vermouth, aromatic bitters, and some garnished maraschino cherries. And for Mr. Graves over here.
What was once a triple? It was a triple Maker's Mark neat. I only drink my liquor straight, no chasers, no mixers, no ice. I like my liquor room temperature. It gets right into the bloodstream, and I can have a good time.
Yeah, don't take long.
The third one,
yeah,
I'm ready to be for the night, and maybe I have a 4th, 5th, or 6th, depending on the mood or where I'm at.
Absolutely.
Yes.
This is like I said, one of my favorites. The other one is old fashioned.
Old fashioned is also my favorite.
Nothing but liquor.
Nothing but liquor.
Yeah.
That's the best way. Like, who needs a chaser? All that sugar and stuff goes right to your love handles.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm trying to lose weight. This is the only drink I'm allowing myself to have during the week until the weekend because I need to lose my gut. So, I'm only drinking today because of Kevin. I'm here with him.
Thank you. So, we were saying before we realized you guys couldn't hear us that it's been a while since we've seen each other.
Yeah. So the last time we saw each other was my premiere in October.
Yes. And before that was my book signing in June. First off, How about us winning? You coming to my book sign, I'm coming to your premiere.
Yeah, this just, I mean, I think it was time for us to really kind of like take hold of our narrative,
Yes,
and our stories and our artistry, because, you know, like, and even for you and myself, like, there's been things that people just put out there that may or may not have been true. They try to capitalize on our art and things like that. So, you know, when you realize your worth, why not put it out there for yourself?
So I made a statement before one of my exes. So he's like, and this is before I came back
I
to.
remember this conversation.
Yeah.
I think you and I had.
Yes. Yes. So before I made my return as Venom, I contemplated it for a while, and I was in a relationship at one point where I was contemplating it, and my ex was like, "Why would you put yourself in a situation where people can exploit you?" And if you guys know anything about, I've been in this career since 2005. Mm-hmm. I've been exploited enough in this situation that I'm going to get the benefit from the exploitation. Exactly. Where other people benefited from my talent. Now it's a space where we get to tell our own or share our narratives. We get to benefit from sharing that narrative or telling our stories. I want to talk about the Unhinged, but
already
no, not yet.
Okay.
But before we get into that, I just made a change, and you made me feel a little jealous.
Oh, you cut your beard down.
I cut my beard down.
When we FaceTimed, it was not that low.
No, at all.
Oh my God.
I told you I was going to do it.
You did. I didn't think you was going to do it this soon.
Yeah, because I wanted it to grow. It was time for something different. I wanted to grow in even. Like, even this, I'm thinking about trimming this. Not as close, but like even down like to the trees. So
yeah.
I bring this up because if you guys can see, this man has this luxurious, sexy ass beard.
And it's mine. It's all natural. Somebody tried to read me one day and say my beard was fake.
I'm about to say how, but I know people can add pieces.
So if we could just get into this, right? We're gonna part it. You can't do this with a lace, right? Maybe you can. I don't know. I never had one. But this is my hair, right? You see that? To the scalp.
Yeah.
You know?
To the chin and cheek.
This is all mine.
You said to the scalp, to the chin and cheek.
To the chin and cheek. There's no scalp on my face. But it's mine, you know?
But the reason why I want to talk about that is because I was nervous about cutting. I think I told you that. I was nervous about cutting my beard because since I've made my resurgence into the adult industry, I've had the beard. Mm-hmm. Actually, so it's so crazy how much we have connecting us. May 2020, I did a photo shoot, and my beard was a baby beard. Mm-hmm. But Mr. You guys can't see. There's a picture hanging up from that photo shoot. Robbie here was my wonderful photographer. And it kind of like set me on a path. Mm-hmm. And now I don't have it no more.
I mean, but it'll be back, right? I think that's the good thing. Is like, 'cause you know, like prior to my premiere, my beard was low.
It was. Yes, it was.
It was.
Yes.
Right? And I've cut it twice since then.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, the good thing is hair always grows back, right? Until we get old and it starts falling out and thinning. You know, clearly we're both bald, so you don't keep hair forever. But like my beard, it grows really fast, and because it's attached to my face, I take it very, very personal.
Right.
I take care of it. I wash it. I condition it, and when it's long enough, I twist it up when I deep condition it. And you know, I gotta keep this is the only hair I got left. Why not? Keep taking it.
And look, it stopped growing hair, but right here.
I mean, I still grow hair up here too. I just grow the sides in the back.
Oh, you got the Sherman Hemsley.
Mm-hmm. I got a little George Jefferson.
Yes.
Pull up to the scene with my ceiling missing.
Yeah. Yes. But the reason why I wanted to talk about that real quick is a couple of reasons. One, I want to know, how do you feel about a man with a beard? Because you're a man with a beard, and I know you're kind of like boxed into a kind of.
Yes. So, okay. This is going to get deep. It's not going to get deep.
Okay.
But when I first started growing my beard out, I felt locked into a persona. Like I had to perform and be a certain way. Right. I had to always be masculine. I had to always be the trade. I had to always be daddy. I had to always be these things to the people I was dating. I could not bring out the confines of masculinity and have a beard because that was just weird to do. Oh,
you about to fuck me up already.
So
breaking out the confines of masculinity. You got me ready.
So you know, as like I've had a beard since my son was like 2 or 3 years old. Okay. And he's down 10, so that's 7 years. And I, like every year I would cut it off, go a few years with a clean face, just I miss my cheekbones and my jawline, because I have a great bone structure.
Yes, you do.
You know, I was very modelly back in the day. But just to kind of like refresh a little bit. And then I said I wanted to see how long it could grow. So like I did it for 2 years and never cut it off. But then I still felt trapped. I still felt like I had to be somebody I wasn't. Because even though I present masculine and I look masculine and I talk masculine, there's still a feminine side to me. And I had to suppress that because people didn't want to see that because I had a beard.
Right.
So when I grew it back, during those 2 years, I started doing things that were unconventional for masculine men to do with beards. So I would wear things like short shorts, like coochie cutters.
I've seen.
Crop tops.
I've seen. And you do it so well.
Yeah. I mean, when you look great, you look great.
Right.
But I started doing these things to kind of break down that heteronormative mindset of what a man could not be.
Thank you.
So like this time, and I think the reason why I'm a lot more comfortable having a beard and being who I am in all shapes and forms of me is because I have a partner who accepts all of me and not just a part of me.
You make me want to go into like several different topics. With that, like having a partner that accepts you and allows you to be as fluid as you want to be is such an amazing thing to have. Like
it's liberating.
It is, because like you was stuck. Oh, I got to be daddy. I got to do this, and part of that stuckness was me. Just thinking back to when I started my career. Oh, you got to be like this. You got to be the trade. What was the response before this relationship where you're allowed to be as fluid? What was your interactions with people like? Was it annoying? Did you just fall into the
like people I dated before?
Not just people you dated, but I know people hit
like general population.
Yeah.
So it depends on what I was wearing the particular day.
Okay.
So if I was dressed like normal Rob, like my normal go-to gear is like sweatpants, jeans, and a t-shirt, like very South Philly, very hood boy, very regular. Like, that's my normal, beard or no beard. That's my normal attire. So I'm always like looked at as like, one of my friends called me Philly's #1 top.
Wow.
He was like, because everybody just wants you. And that's like, I don't think that's true.
I gotta get my game up. No time.
But
I'll drink to that.
But then also when I would do things like wear crop tops and short shorts or booty shorts, coochie cutters, whatever you want to call them, it was a thing where like I was always perceived as submissive or a bottom. So it was like I would get hit on by men who were masculine men, or sometimes the feminine guys or non-conforming guys would hit on me too. But it was just like no matter what, I was always perceived a certain way. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, for a while, it kind of affected how I saw myself, but not in a way that was like bad. But it was like, well, damn, like, is anybody ever going to accept me for me?
That's what I'm saying, like falling
Who gonna love me? Huh? Since you got all your degrees and you know everything, who gonna love me?
Can you guys tell why he's sitting next to me? So, the other reason why I wanted to talk about the beard is because with me growing mine, and the reason why I cut it is because like I think at some point I just like lost control of it in terms of like just the care, knowing, because there's so many different products out there, there's so many different things you could do. How do you do your beard care? Because I need mine to because it's not enough to just have hair. I want it to be full like yours, and at one point it was, but now I needed to get back to that. And what's the best way to take care of my beard?
So beard care is a struggle because I didn't always take care of my beard the way I do now. Because I was listening to people who had beards before I had a beard, and it was always like, oh well. So the #1 rule that I still live by is never touch it. So like if you go to the barbershop and you get a shape up, they always trim your beard. Yeah. So you trim your beard, you're constantly cutting back on the growth. So I cut my own hair. Right. I've always cut my own hair since I was like 18, 19. So I never touch my beard. All I do is line it up. This is all I do. Right. That was the #1 step. That's the rule I still live by to this day. And then as I progressed in like understanding how to groom myself and groom my beard and knowing my texture of hair and what I wanted, I started to look at certain products. And the #1 thing for me has always been shampoo, conditioner, leave-in conditioner. I never had a moisturizer. Okay. I never had a beard oil or beard butter until this year. Okay. It was only because I was supporting a black business at an art fair that I was at, and she had body butters and soaps and things like that, and a hair and body butter. So I bought that, and it was like a little small vial. Just ran out after like a year. Wow. And that was like using it before I cut my beard and up to now. So my routine is, and what people, like a lot of hairstylists will say, don't wash your beard every day. I don't wash my beard every day until it reaches over an inch.
So how do you not wash your beard if you wash your face? Like,
So like washing like with things like so I'll do like Dove soap was my everyday face care routine.
Okay.
Unless I'm like going out there, I'll do like a little glam thing.
Right.
But it's the Dove soap in my hands, and I just because my hands are relatively abrasive, even though they're soft and moisturized, I like hit my face with like when it's low, and I do like a little scrub and I rinse, and that's it. But the other thing is like when it's low like that, you have to brush it to stimulate your natural hair growth and the oils in your skin to moisturize your beard. Because you think about it, if you don't wash your hair for 4 days, your hair gets oily.
Yeah.
Because you naturally produce oil. So if you don't, wash, condition, and moisturize it, all you gotta do is brush your beard to stimulate that oil and that hair growth.
Okay.
And brushing also helps, like if like for right now, like how your beard doesn't connect here. If you brush that every day, you'll stimulate new cells and new hair growth and blood flow to that area.
So for those of you who can see, I've never grown this side right here. So that's gonna be my experiment. See.
So they have devices and all those things that like it's like a rolling thing, it has like little pins on it, and you just rub the patchy areas, and it's supposed to like stimulate your hair growth and create new follicles and things like that. But literally, I just get a boar bristle brush and take it to my face. But like when it's like this length, I use a rat tail comb. So I do it, and I don't like like you wash like people wash their stuff separately.
Yeah.
All that shit happens in the shower.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
I get my Cream of Nature Intense Moisturizing Conditioner and shampoo, and I shampoo it first. I wash my face first, then I shampoo it. I take the comb, right? And because I have soft curly hair, my beard curls. Oh, since I have soft curly hair, my beard curls. So I'll take the comb and I'll pull away from it and using the back end to curl the follicles as I pull away. So what happens is I get this wavy texture in my beard. And then after I wash it, I let the shampoo sit as I wash my body, right? And I hit all the crevice in between and all that. And then when I have a good lather and I feel clean enough, I rinse everything, head to toe, wash the shampoo out, all that. And then I grab my conditioner, and they say like use a dime amount or a quarter. I use however much I feel like I need for that particular day.
Right.
And if it's like a lot, as long as my beard is saturated from the root to the tip and in between, I feel good. And then after I do that, I wash up again. And I let it sit. And my showers are hot. So it's all that steam and moisture collecting. And then I rinse, and I do a pat dry. I don't like comb it out enough like that because now my texture's where I want it to be. It takes time because I have to train my beard to do this.
Right.
And then once it's like while it's still wet, I get my deep conditioner, rub it in my hands until my hands are like thick and pasty, and I rub it in until it disappears. And then if I feel like moisturizing that day, I'll grab my moisturizer, the beard butter, and I put it in my hands, do the same thing, and I rub it in until it's clear. And that's it. Yeah. And that's how it stays healthy, shiny, and it smells good.
I'm going to be working on that. So I have been taking care of the little bit of beard I have left. I've been doing like the washing it. I had some leave-in conditioner. I just let sit in it for a little bit. And then I put I have like oils, like Cantu oil and this other beard cream and a beard butter. And just put all that stuff on to make sure that it at least looks like healthy. And that's what I want. I want it to look healthy.
So I stay away from oils. Only because like they tend to sink to the base. They don't stay on the surface. Okay. Even when you like rub it in, it goes to the base. And my biggest thing, no matter how much hair I have on my face, is always protecting my skin. Yeah. Because when you think about it, so that's why I used to cut my beard off every year, is because I didn't want pock marks or deep, widened pores and all that. So I checked to make sure my skin is still clear.
Right. Makes sense.
Underneath all of this. But I stay away from oils for that reason, because oils tend to collect. But that's also why I wash my beard multiple times.
But you also mentioned we develop oil anyway. Right. So natural oils is what we need. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have a hard time. Well, you said you wash every 4 days?
No, sometimes I wash my beard every day.
Right. They say you shouldn't.
You shouldn't, because it dries it out. But if you're reapplying moisture, then why not? Right. Or conditioners and things like that to keep it moisturized and healthy. I don't see a problem with it. Makes sense. That's all you stylists out there.
So, I want to move on to our next conversation. We can talk about why am I dark?
That's on your side.
Yeah. I'm going to keep moving. I want to talk about the Unhinged. Okay. So, we were talking about how we control our own narratives and how we're telling our stories and we're benefiting from telling our stories. And I just so happen to know that this is personally tied to you. Yes. So, give us a brief synopsis of the Unhinged.
So, after losing his partner, a young man decides to get back into the dating world. And he comes to learn that his partners are now being stalked by a Night Stalker. So all his suitors are being stalked by a Night Stalker. So that's kind of like how, that's the log line, that's the premise of the film. This young guy is dating, you know, he just lost his partner while they broke up. And everybody he tries to date goes missing. And it's because they're being hunted by someone. So that is the premise or the synopsis of the Unhinged. Yeah. So here's how this all came to be, right? What happened was a few years ago, I went through a really, really, really bad breakup. And I was just kind of like, I always express myself through art. That's the way I tell my stories. That's the way I heal. That's the way I get through things. That's the way, you know, I've always told stories. That's the way I've used art as a way of healing myself. And sometimes other people, because people can relate to your art sometimes. So a few years ago, I made this film, and I made three or two songs for this film. And I wrote the script for it, and I shot it myself. And when I was in front of the camera, I used a tripod. When I wasn't, I used my hands, and then I even used some of my friends, because, you know, sometimes you gotta lean on your own network.
Yes.
That happened, and it just did not. It was really shitty. It was bad. It was a terrible project. So when we were in Atlanta,
yes.
So Kevin and I were in Atlanta filming one day, and I had just bought this new camera. It was the Canon C100, and I said, we got to test this out. I had it for like 3 months. I buy cameras and things and never touch them for months until I had built up the courage to be like, okay, you're ready. So then I took this camera. I took it to Atlanta with us, and I said, hey, let's test out the camera tonight and invite somebody over and make a film. A 2-minute short, no dialogue, boom. That's that, right? So fun. We shot it, and I sat on it, never touched it because I was afraid to touch the footage. And then one night during the pandemic, I just banged it out, right? And at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, I sent it out to everybody on Instagram. If I followed you, if I didn't follow you, if you had clout, if you didn't have clout, yes. If you were a producer, filmmaker, you worked for a network, I sent it to them. And Phil took the bait.
Really?
Philip Johnson in LA took the bait. And he was like, we got to make this. He was like, I've had horror on my mood board for this entire year. I've never done a horror film. And I think what you sent me was great. I'm sitting here in my apartment shook at 3 in the morning because you sent me a horror clip. And Kevin was in it.
I was actually in it, yeah.
He was in it. He was I was
the shadow. I was the shadow in the corner.
And another guy that we knew in Atlanta was in it as well. And I was behind the camera. And I said it's like this really creepy music. And the apartment that we shot in was the house that we shot in was super dark. So it gave everything it needed to give. And he took the bait, and we decided to make this a film. So he sent me, like, I had never written a script with anybody else. I always wrote my scripts in Microsoft Word. Never knew script writing software existed and all that, because filmmaking was something that I did, but I never had made my own film. So we get in this Share app, and we're on our computers writing. And everywhere I go, I took my laptop, and I was writing at social events with my friends.
Wow. And
I was writing at home. I was writing at work. Any chance I got, I was writing the film. And then we casted it, and I linked on Phil a lot for that because his network is in LA, and I'm in Philly. Right. So he casted the film. I auditioned him on Zoom. We chose the cast. We set dates. We raised money. My family put up some money. My sister and my mom. Shout out to them, because without them, this film would not have happened. And I put up a lot of my own money from this in the midst of being in grad school, raising a kid, and opening a restaurant, or preparing to open a restaurant. And like working a 9 to 5, because that's the thing that I had to do to survive. Yeah. And we got it made. And it was stressful. It was a headache. It was painful, but it got done. And I think for me, even if it was a shitty film, it got done.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like that was the process.
Real quick, it's not a shitty film at all.
No, it's not. It's
not a
really
shitty film at all.
It's a really great film. I cried when I first watched it. When I watched the final product. And granted, I'm a part of every single process.
Right.
I shot it.
Did you edit?
I did not edit.
Okay.
So I shot it in LA. I directed it. I co-wrote it. I executive produced it. I did fight choreography for it. I chose all the music for it.
Yes.
So like my hand is in every single part of the film. And so I knew that I did not have the time to edit it with my schedule and my life and all that I have going on. So I hired an editor in Atlanta, he was the only, outside of the women, he was the only straight person that worked on the film.
Oh wow. Cool.
And he was like reviewing it with his girlfriend, like, what do you think? Like, she was giving him feedback, and you know, she's not into horror, but she's like, this is actually really creepy. It's actually really good. But when he's sitting, like, and granted, like, I'm reviewing, I'm giving notes, I'm sending notes, and when he was like, okay, I think it's done. Tell me what you think. And when he sent it, I cried. Like, literally, I sat in my room and I cried. And I was like, you made a fucking film.
Yes.
Like, you did it. Like, you checked off the next chapter in your life. You wrote the first part of that chapter. And it's still highly influenced by my experiences.
Right.
So, I'll give you all...
Because I'm waiting.
A little bit of information.
I'm waiting.
about the film, right? So, and granted, y'all be able to watch it. I don't mind telling certain things now because the film has done 3 premieres. One in Philly, one in LA, and one in Atlanta. We just wrapped the Atlanta one 2 weeks ago.
Awesome.
We've just been accepted to the Las Vegas Black Film Festival.
Congratulations.
We're waiting on a few more responses from other film festivals. I'm going to submit to 6 to 8 more. So I'm focusing primarily on black and queer film festivals because I realized there's not really a white market for this film. And white film festivals in white Hollywood acts very indifferent to black art. Unless you've made your name in white Hollywood.
Right.
And that's not to take anything away from black artists who have done those things. But for independent filmmakers, it's a lot harder for us because we don't have budgets. We don't have agents and managers or things like that who can shop our products for us or get our work out there. We have to do all this on our own.
Right.
And so like right now we were going to release it on YouTube, but we decided to run the film festival circuit because I feel like that's a way to get valid feedback from people in the industry. You know, Spike Lee goes to film festivals, Janelle Monáe, Loretta Devine, all those people that have spanned black media and black culture and film and entertainment go to these black film festivals. Right. So it's definitely well needed exposure. So enough about that shit. The film is in writing this film, we pull from our own lives and experiences. Now,
so let me ask this real quick.
Yeah, ask me some questions, honey.
Because you told us your inspiration to start the film was, but you also told us that you co-wrote with Phil.
Yes.
So was his experiences influenced as well?
Yes. So
without telling the story,
so with script writing, I believe that the most authentic way to script write is using language that you know and that you use or that you've heard from your own experiences, not some shit you think people would say or that you think somebody would do, but things that from your own experiences. And that was essential and vital to this film is to use our own voice.
Right.
So, for example, one of the characters has dissociative identity disorder. And he has a split personality. Mm-hmm. And he's written in Phil's voice and my voice.
Oh.
So, and I mean, you've seen it, so you know.
Now, I mean, it makes sense now because, like, I know you. I know your voice. And, like, flipping from one to the other, which was amazing. And now I can see how.
Yeah.
That's actually dope.
It's written in both of our voices. And granted, like, what people don't know is, like, co-writing is very, very hard. Because there's so, like, and we didn't know each other. We wrote this film without knowing each other. I had no information about his work ethic. He had nothing about mine. I didn't know his writing style. He didn't know mine. And I'm a very punchy writer and dramatic writer. And because I live on a precipice of drama, sci-fi, and horror.
Yeah.
So our styles, and he's a comedy writer. Yeah. So our styles are extremely different. But we were able to make it work. So the comedy that you do see in the film is his work.
Nice.
The things that have you like, bitch, what the fuck? That's my work.
Nice.
But we made it work throughout the entire thing. So it's influenced, like a lot of the language is like, especially things that I wrote, those are things that I actually said or somebody said to me.
Wow.
Except for like where it gets a little murdery.
You see, this is why you guys have to, well, it's hard to watch unless they're actually in a film festival. Like they would have to go to a film festival to see it, right?
So, so there may be a DC premiere coming up.
Okay. Because I recommend people see this film. It's a really good film. And I'm not just saying it because I know Rob and I love him and we've worked together, but like I got to that one. He said, okay, we're going to do a premiere up at this specific particular specific area in the city. I'm like, I only know too many theaters over there. I only know too many theaters, so I'm wondering where we about to do the, like, I wonder what hall he rented out. And I'm not downplaying what you're doing.
Yeah, that's real shit.
But like, I'm not gonna lie, for my my book release, I was at a bar, which is a very popular bar in the city.
I reached out to them to do it.
Oh wow. Mm-hmm. And it, you know, I was in a bar. Period. Whereas I'm looking for parking. I park my car, carry my stuff around the corner because I actually did photography for you.
Yeah, Kevin was my photographer for the premiere,
for the Philly premiere. So I'm looking like, wait, I know you're not talking about this movie theater here on 69th Street. Is that what you're talking about? Look at you! Look at you looking like you looking. No, it was such a dope event. And I want to speak to a couple of things about that. One, the level of professionalism and the level of, I want to call it grandiose to some extent, because I don't think that you were necessarily being grandiose, but the level and the standard that you set for yourself was so freaking dope. And when you walked in, you had no choice but to respect this man for his hard work. I got there. This man's trying to put stuff together by himself, half dressed, running around giving directions. I'm like, do what you got to do. Let me help you out.
I got it.
Let me help you. Do what you got to do. But then to see all of the love, the red carpet, I think the funniest part of that experience is when you crammed all your family and friends that were from South Philly. Now, you had people from all over, but when your family came and your friends came, you know, as people of color, if you see something in the movie that speaks to you, you're going to speak back. And it was a lot of that going on, but I think it was more of just so much love and admiration for you and what you created. I
think, you know, what I took away from that entire experience, it wasn't, like, because I did want to put on a show, right? And in watching the film, I said, there's no way people will feel the power of it without seeing it in a theater. Yeah. And I reached out to every theater in the city. Oh, wow. Like, every theater that, like, where you can go and buy tickets to see the Avengers. Right. Every single one. And nobody had anything for somebody like me, like an independent filmmaker. It was, oh, well, if you want to rent this out, baby, it's going to cost you $2,000. Whereas the Studio Movie Grill has a package for people like us without money. Right.
Right. And that's the part, because, again, it's independent.
Right. So it was perfect because they have a bar. They serve food. I got to choose my theater. Originally, I was in a 200-seat theater, which I could have sold out knowing that now. Right. But because, like, you know, people who look like us were last minute. So nobody wanted to buy a ticket till the day before. And I had already sold out. And I was like, because I sold out so early, I moved to a smaller theater. Right. But, like, I knew that was an experience I wanted people to have. Like, that entire red carpet experience. I wanted people to feel like they were in Hollywood or in, you know, an actual premiere for a major motion picture. Right. But what I loved most about it, what I took away from it, was that it was a diverse crowd. Yes, it was straight. Yes, it was. It was gay. It was trans. It was old. It was young. It was everything far and in between. And everybody that sat in that space felt connected to that film.
I was going to say, not even just the energy in that room was so dope because we were all connected to each other. We were connected to you in the film. And it was a movie premiere, but it felt like a family reunion. And then there was a Q&A afterwards, followed with a toast. And you know, we like a nice little toast.
Baby, when I tell you that Philadelphia premiere broke the bank, because, I mean, the theater was relatively cheap. The theater was only $750, right? But I bought everyone in that room a glass of wine. The room was sold out. Yes. It was 111 seats in that room. And I bought the entire theater a glass of wine. Because I wanted to thank them for being there to support and celebrate me. But that shit broke the bank.
I could imagine.
But I didn't mind it, because I love y'all.
It was, I think, it's not coming out of my pocket, but I think it was worth it. It was
well worth it.
It
was definitely worth it.
Yeah.
And I think, because initially I wanted to take everybody to the bar, get them, you know, shots of brown, shots of white. And I was like, just have them, because they bring the stuff to the theater, your drinks and food, they bring it to you in the theater. So I had them bring up. I told them I was like, listen, at X, Y, and Z time, I need you to walk in here with 100 glasses of champagne or wine, whatever we had at the time. Was it wine? Or
it was red wine and white wine.
Red wine and white wine.
You had options.
They walked in on the little trays, and everybody got to get their pick. And we toasted, and I was really lit by this point. So I was talking out of pocket.
You were that out of pocket. You were on point.
You know what? I think I was out of because my family has never seen me in a space where I felt safe around my own people.
Wow.
Like a room of my peers, a room of the gays and my friends and my supporters. Wow. So my family was there, my sisters and my aunts and my cousins and people who watched me grow up from a child. Right. And I'm cussing like a sailor, which is why I didn't let my son come because I know he's watching. But I think it felt really good. Like I didn't care about if people hated the film, I didn't care. What I wanted was for them to have a connection to it, because not everybody's gonna like your work. Right. Everybody's gonna appreciate your work. Right. But when I heard people say, regardless of your sexuality, you've been there, you felt that.
Yes, I remember that.
This is like something has played on your mental health in a relationship.
Right.
So I think that was more important for me was to know that people felt and vibrated and connected with this film. Because I like granted watching it now. I watched it before and then I was like, I would not watch this film ever.
Really?
And it's like, but that's me being the artist.
It's like when you're cooking and you tasting food while you cooking, and then by the time the food done, it's like I don't even want to eat now.
But it's like people and everybody's like, Robbie, you're so hard on yourself. You're so this, you're so that. But I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit.
Yeah.
So I want
to ask you, what would you do different? If you can say it.
I would do a lot different.
Okay.
I got really sick in LA.
Oh wow.
And I had to muscle through filming. But the one thing I always say in your interview is that I would show up as my full self because I was afraid to make this film. I flew across the country to work with people I never met outside of Zoom or Instagram. And like I made it a very clear point to say I'm a very hard, and not hard in the sense like, how do they say Monique? Difficult.
Right.
She's difficult to work with. I'm hard because I want the best out of you, and I want the best for the film.
Right.
And a lot of people, like a lot of independent artists or actors don't understand that.
Right.
They just think you're being a bitch.
Right.
And I've spent my entire life as an artist. I started training at 9 years old.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And for some it's like, oh, that's not that young. Some people have been doing this since 3. But to be 9, and I've been performing since I was 10. I trained a year, and they said, you know what? We're going to put you in this show. And I was just like, and I've been like, before I started training, I had been on TV 3 times prior to that.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't like I was in an acting role, but I was like those game shows. Mm-hmm. And like I was on like 3 different game shows before I was like 9.
Wow.
So, and I don't know if you all remember Bozo the Clown, but that requires no acting ability. You just put on a costume and you go out there.
Yeah.
But that's what I knew I wanted to be in a performer.
Right.
So I've been doing this for a long time. So I take it very seriously, no matter how big or small.
Right. Exactly.
I take my art very, very personally.
Exactly.
And I was afraid in LA to show up as my full self because I didn't want to disrupt the feng shui of the space. Because everybody was so giddy and so bubbly, and they do this all the time. Like this was a network of friends and people who had worked on other projects together. So I was the only outsider.
Wow. And it's your film.
And it was my film, and they may or may not have known that. They knew because a lot of the work went through my co-writer and co-producer, but they didn't know what I was pouring into it.
Right.
And I feel like there was no need to say, "Oh well, I did this," because that's I wasn't there for that.
Right.
I was there to make a great film. I was there to tell a story, and I got it done. But I would have shown up as my full self because I feel like I would have got what I wanted. Because a lot had changed and a lot was cut. Yeah. And even though people think it was great, I'm just like, bitch. If you only knew what we did not have time to do or what we had to cut.
Yeah.
Because the time constraints and scheduling and my fear and things like that. And when I was in Atlanta, somebody said, like, stop telling people you're hard to work with. Because that's when the people not want to work with you. I'm hard to work with in the sense that I want the best from you.
I would change that language to I'm very professional.
I'm very concise and precise.
That's what you should say. Yeah. Instead of
I'm very intentional in my craft, in my
Yeah.
art. I'm not doing this to be a bitch or to hurt your feelings. I'm doing this because I want the best for you as an artist and as a creative and as a talent.
Right. And again, this is your art, and how can someone take your art and say, "Oh, I don't want it that way"? No, it's yours.
Mhm.
So you have 100% reign to say, "This is how I want my art to be." So we're getting closer to the end of this hour. So there's something I wanted to do. I wanted to do a happy hour, and then I
Okay.
wanted to do last call. So for happy hour, what I wanted to do was think of something fun, something funny. It could be related to your beard. It could be related to Unhinged. What is something, or this is more like shots, but what is something that you experience that make you, when you take a shot and you like get the little perch, like, what is something that made you like, Again, it could be your beard or the Unhinged.
Just those two.
Yeah, because that's what we talked about tonight.
Okay.
So let's keep it on on that level.
So
Unless it's like just that good.
right now my beard is black, but 2 weeks ago it was blonde. So dyeing my beard blonde was like, ugh, and which is why it's black right now.
How long? Wait. So you died? Wait, so you died? You didn't like it and dyed it back?
So it wasn't that I didn't like it. It was just that it wasn't me. It was like, and granted, I work in government.
Right.
So walking into my office for 2 weeks with a blonde beard was a bit much. But then also it was, I didn't feel like myself. Because I don't live, like, even though I'm an artist 24/7, I don't live my life as an artist.
Right.
But then also what really made me dye my beard back black. Story time. I was walking down Point Breeze in South Philly, coming from getting a bottle of champagne. I celebrate myself every Tuesday and Thursday. And this older man said to me, "Hey, you got any grandkids? Because I got some socks for sale." And at that moment, I said, "I'm dyeing my beard back black." In that moment, when he said, "Hey, you got any grandkids? I got some socks for sale," all I could say was, "No, bro, I'm cool." And I kept walking.
Oh,
And-
I thought you was a grandpa.
The next day, I went and bought 2 boxes of Beijing. And I dyed my beard back black.
Would you ever dye it another color?
No.
No, ever.
Actually, no, I do dye my beard a color. I dye my beard reddish brown because naturally I grow red and brown hair.
Yeah, I've seen it. I love that.
Yeah. So
I love the black, but when you had that, I love that.
So my natural color is like, this whole part of my beard is black, right? This whole front half. But these patches back here grow red and brown with some black. And then under here is gray, naturally. So I have 3 or 4 different colors in my beard. So I want to go back to a natural state. So I dyed it back. Because
You
it's
look
gonna make
good.
grandpa.
I'm not going to dye mine. Just let it grow in. I need to have you back for another show because I couldn't talk about everything that I wish I could. We had time to
Yes.
talk about.
We got
just an hour.
time?
Yeah, it's just an hour.
But we started late.
Oh, you want to go 10 minutes further?
Yeah, can we go to like 8:13?
We can, all right.
Any questions? Drop some questions in. Respectful questions about the interview.
Yes. Thank you.
Oh, midnight, thank you.
And my drink is gone.
Mine too. We've been talking for 30 minutes, so this is the appropriate time to get rid of a drink. Let's scroll through.
So,
Thank you, Dennis. Dennis says, "God bless y'all." Dennis, God bless you for being here tonight and enjoying this conversation, participating with us.
this it's only allowing me to see these. When we restarted, these are the only comments that actually came through.
But yeah, everyone else was saying they couldn't hear us.
Right. So that's the issue with the comments. But if you guys have comments that you want to, if you want to ask Robbie a question, you want to make a respectful question for Robbie, then you can type those in. It could be about beard care. It could be about the Unhinged. How can people find you on social media?
Oh, you can find me at King Robert Graves on Instagram, King Rob Graves on Twitter because they don't have enough characters, and then Robert King Graves on Facebook.
Say it again for the people who are remedial like I am.
King Robert Graves on Instagram,
Uh-huh.
King Rob Graves on Twitter, and Robert King Graves on Facebook.
Awesome. Another question is, how can people support your project? Is there a way people can support?
You can support the Unhinged.
Yes. Like, is there
Yes,
is there a place that you can donate, like Cash App, or do you have like an online thing? Just gave you an idea. We'll come back to that. I'll
No, I don't have a Cash App because my Cash App got hacked.
Oh shit.
And I was like, I only use Apple Pay, but I don't want to give nobody my phone number.
Right.
But I do have PayPal and Venmo.
Okay.
So I mean, you can definitely donate to those things. I don't know off the top of my head.
Well, I'll put it in the description.
Yes.
So it'll be in the description on YouTube, and if you're on Facebook watching or Twitter watching, go over to my YouTube. Make sure you guys hit subscribe, like, share this video, and leave a comment. If you are a part of the live audience, leave a comment, obviously. But if you're watching this after we've broadcast, you can always just go back and leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you want Robbie to come back, which he's coming back anyway. If you have questions, I can forward to him, whatever the case may be. But definitely do that. I am. Oh, you said 13.
813.
813. So I'm gonna keep it going then.
Okay, so Dennis has a question.
Okay, Mr. Robert, how did you do your editing? If so, was it hard? And thanks.
So Dennis, for this film, I did not do my own editing because of my own personal time constraints in life. But most times I do my own editing. Whenever I shoot, I prefer to do my own editing. Kevin knows that.
Yes.
Because I know what I shot. I know where I want to go.
Exactly.
I have the visual in my mind. I have a photographic memory, so I always know where I want to go as an artist and as a creative. And I may send it to my client if there's a client involved and say like, "What do you think? Do you want to change anything?" But for the most part, I do all my own editing, just not with this film because I was stressed.
Which makes sense.
Yes.
So I shot a music video, and I brought the content to Rob, and Rob actually edited for J Mar.
Did
you edit that video for
about
us?
that?
Yeah. I was just showing somebody because someone asked me about a music video, if I can do one. And I'm like, sure. And I showed him that, and I'm like, Robbie did this for me.
So I've also done music videos.
Mm-hmm.
So I've edited a music video for Kevin. I've shot and edited several music videos. I've done a web show behind it, like as the camera operator and the producer and the director. I've edited. I just do it all. There's no way around it. I love being hands-on with my own work, if I can.
What is next? Like, what's the next step for you? Whether it's further with the Unhinged, or are there other projects?
So what's next is finishing grad school in May.
That's a big one.
That's next. I don't want to take on any other projects until that's done. Mm-hmm. However, starting April, I am going to be shooting 2 music videos for my little brother, who's an artist, who's a singer.
You showed me one of those videos. That's right. You showed me that. I want to look at it again now that I am fully aware of who's in the video. And yes, I want to see that.
So
again.
we're doing his rebranding as an artist,
nice.
And we have some dope ideas with that. But once I finish grad school and I get back into writing films again, because I started writing like last year, and I was like, no, just stop and focus on everything else you have going on. I'm going to try to get 4 films out in the next 2 to 3 years.
Lit.
So I have the concept, I have the synopsis, I have the outline, the character overview, and all those things. It's just a matter of writing.
Let me talk about that real quick. So, as Rob mentioned before, we were in Atlanta, and we shot just that. He had the idea to do it, and we said, let's shoot it. There was no dialogue in it at all. But either that morning or the next morning, you showed me, or you started sharing with me some of your writing, which I was completely amazed.
I was writing the Unhinged.
Yeah. Oh, that. Yes.
That was the Unhinged.
So the reason why I bring that up is I wanted to ask you what your process is with writing. Like when you come, like I know that you write from a personal experience a lot of times with the stories that you write, but what is the actual process like when you get writer's block, or when you're trying to speak in the character voice and not your own?
So, writing The Unhinged was completely different than writing as a solo writer. Mm-hmm. So my process as a solo writer is to, one, write out the story. And scenes, acts, and no, actually I'm lying. The first step is to develop the character. So I develop the characters first. I have to think about I'll have a general idea of what the film is going to be about. Then I'll think about okay, so who's in this film? I write out the character, their age, what they look like, what their character traits are, what's their value to the film, anything that's going to help me develop their voice as an individual. Then I write a synopsis of the entire story, scene by scene.
Done that.
What happens in this scene? Who's being affected? Who are the key players? So I write out and I might even include some dialogue or language that they may say,
right,
as it comes to me. So that way, when I go to write the script, I can always refer back to that to develop their voice further. And because I have 8 personalities living inside me, it's a lot easier to write as different people.
That always helps.
It always helps.
Always helps.
And then when I get stuck, I may smoke a cigarette. I may have a drink. No, I won't drink if I'm writing because I won't be able to focus. Or I'll play music. Usually gospel music.
Name it.
Woo! That's always on the list.
Yes. I think it's interesting that you listen to gospel music when you write.
Yeah. So the thing is, I'm not a religious person, but I'm spiritual. So I have a connection to God through gospel music. God, God, the only figure that I like. So I speak to God through that, and that's where my inspiration comes from.
That is lit.
And it helps relieve my stress too.
Because I like to do what you just said. I like to listen to music, but the music I listen to is more of a setting the mood. Like what is the scene about, and what music influences the emotions of that scene. And that's I'll use music that way to write something versus just using music just to center myself. Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah. So now, if I'm shooting something that's not scripted, it's just audio, I use the music as the inspiration to write the story. Right. So my brother's videos, I use the music to tell the story.
Makes sense.
To inspire my visuals. But other than that, if I'm writing a script and I'm stuck, please believe I'm going to give a good praise and worship in my house.
Yes, sir.
For a good 30 minutes. Karen Clark Sheard is the number one go-to. And the Clark sisters.
So we're not going to go on the concert now, but me and Robbie have plenty of nights sitting in the car.
Just singing the Clark sisters, name it, claim it, live, the live version.
Yes, and killing it. Wait, wasn't your son in the car? Was one night we were singing and all of us just going.
I made him sing. Yeah. My son can sing a bit, but he doesn't like singing. He thinks it's embarrassing. He thinks it's really embarrassing when I sing. But if he wants something, I'll make him sing.
That's funny.
Yeah. Oh. He's right now he's like an alto. His boy voice hasn't come in yet.
Well, he's still 10?
He's 10.
Yeah, he got
puberty has hit because his voice is getting deeper. But vocally, he's still relatively high.
Well, train him. They say train up a child. Train him.
He doesn't want to sing. I would love to, but he doesn't want to sing.
Oh.
Unfortunately. Any other questions? We have about 10 minutes left. Oh, we have 6.
Yeah, we got 6 minutes left before we end this. What is your? I want you to think fast. All right, I'm gonna try to think fast too. Favorite alcohol? I know dark, but which brand?
Woodford Reserve.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah,
all right,
it's really good.
Just go with it. Cat Williams or Kevin Hart?
Kevin Hart.
I shouldn't say this. Beyonce or Kelly?
Beyonce. Kelly! Oh, Beyonce! Oh my God, I'm stuck! Beyonce performance-wise, Kelly vocally.
Wait, say that again?
Beyonce for performance, Kelly for vocals.
There you go. Yogurt or Jell-O?
Yogurt.
Cake or cookies?
Cake.
Male or female? I'm sorry. No, I'm not going for a long way. We got another one. Was any improv done away from this script in this particular film? Good question.
Any improv? No, I don't think so. They pretty much stuck to the script.
So, as a writer and director, are you the type of director that says, all right, these are the words that's on this page, these are the words you're going to say, or this is what the story's about, these are the words as a blueprint, and,
Yes. Normally I am. But for this film...
Wait, which one?
I am I'll allow some freedom.
Okay.
To develop your character your way. So we did do some character development and I let them change lines.
Okay.
but they all stuck to whatever they changed, or they didn't like divvy away from the script.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was rehearsals like?
They were like 30 minute to an hour Zoom sessions per scene.
Are you serious?
And it only happened once.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a really dope film.
It's a really dope film.
Yeah.
No,
It's a dope
so
film.
rehearsal was really short because like we were in a pandemic.
True.
Everything was virtual. And it was going really quick. So it all happened really fast. But I will say that those actors spent their time like developing their own characters.
Good. So they put in the work to make it easier.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I think it's always helpful when everyone works together as a team.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to put extra work into developing the characters completely by yourself. Like you give them the story. This is who the character is. And I like doing that a lot.
And they were filming multiple projects at the time.
Oh, wow.
Like while I was in LA filming, they were like filming other stuff too.
How long did it take to film?
4 days.
Just 4 days.
4 days.
Really? What's the running time for the film?
30 minutes, roughly. 29 minutes and 44
4
seconds.
days.
Mm-hmm.
How long did it take to edit?
6 months.
That's usually how it is.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I mean, but my editor had like multiple projects too.
Right.
And I was like very lenient with him about it. I was like, I don't need shit until September, October. You have time to get it done.
That's good.
But just know.
Right.
Just know.
No, that is lit.
So I'm giving y'all my interview voice. This is not my normal voice, y'all. This is not, and I'm also, I've had a drink. But this is not my normal voice. It's a lot heavier. But I'm giving y'all like my mix of like white and black. But nah, seriously. I'm actually looking forward to writing my next project. I do have a film I'm gonna do starring all black women. I also want to do a story about what it's like to grow up in a black household. I also want to do a rom-com, a gay rom-com.
Nice.
Not one that features a white man as the love interest, but a black man as the love interest for a black man. I don't want that shit that Netflix did with that film, and they promoted it as a black love film, and it was a white film with a black love interest. Not going to happen on my watch.
Wow.
It was the Christmas movie. You didn't see it?
No.
Oh my God.
Which movie was it? It's a Christmas?
It was a Christmas movie. I forget what it was called. It was a black guy that they promoted him heavy. And he was the only black person in the film. He was the love interest. It was so disheartening.
Unfortunately, I'm going to go look for it. Thank you so much, Dennis.
Thanks, Dennis.
Actually, it's 8:12, so
Yes, we have 1 minute left. It's time to go.
Let me sign off. Thank you guys for joining me on the Cocktail Hour. The Cocktail Hour will be live every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on all of the platforms that you're watching me now on, which is Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And I'll take clips and put them on Instagram as well. I cannot thank you enough, Rob, for being here.
Thank you for having me. This is unexpected.
Yeah, and sitting down with you again and chat after months and months and months. So it's good to see you.
Because we're about to talk offline.
Yeah, well, it's good to see. It's good to see you face to face. It's not like we haven't spoken, but not face to face.
Not face to face. This is our first time outside of the premiere and a book signing.
Yeah, seeing each other face to face and
Yeah.
actually sitting down and talking. Because I've been saying, "Oh, we gotta get together. We gotta get together." So thank you for not only getting together, but like for being my very first guest on the Cocktail Hour on my premiere episode. So, guys, again, make sure you guys go support, follow. I'm going to put his PayPal, and you said Venmo.
Yeah.
I'll put that information.
Don't
in the
hack me,
description.
y'all. Don't hack me.
I think it's a little more difficult with those platforms than it is with Cash App.
No, let me say my two-factor identification now. Authentication.
Yeah, yeah. That's corny for y'all to be hacking people, by the way. Also, if you guys haven't paid attention, we've mentioned it multiple times. On top of The Unhinged, I also have a book called A Life of Lust, Memoirs of the Porn Star, which is available for sale on my website, which is at the bottom of the screen, www.kevynm.com. Please go and check out my website, purchase a book, purchase a DVD, which is actually called The Way to Kevin, which is something else that we'll talk about some other time. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys. Cheers to you guys for watching, and don't get too drunk. Love you
Don't get
guys.
too drunk.